Okay, so this is part 2 of the argument PowerPoint. We're still on deductive reasoning, and I'm going to give you another syllogism here. Enthymemes simplify the syllogism to 2 steps. Example, Connie is a cheerleader, therefore Connie is very popular, or Connie is popular. So our first claim is A, Connie is a cheerleader, which is true. You don't know our Connie, but I do, and she's a cheerleader. And then we've concluded Connie is popular. So what are we leaving out? We're leaving B out because B is assumed. Think about it. What would B be? What would that? Maybe pause this video and think about it a second. Connie is a cheerleader. Therefore, Connie is popular. So what did we miss in there? What did we not say but assumed? I'll give you a second. Okay, what we didn't say is that cheerleaders are popular. That's something that we just assume. Now, maybe you know some cheerleaders in your past who were not popular. I didn't know anybody who wasn't popular who was a cheerleader, but it could happen. So let's move on. Questions to ask about deductive arguments are these. Is the general statement true? The first one. Is Connie a cheerleader? Yes, we know that that's true. Is the specific example true? Are cheerleaders popular? Well, that's true most of the time probably, but it's not true all the time. Does the specific example apply to the general statement? Is Connie popular? If she is it because she's a cheerleader, or is it because, I don't know, other reasons, which we won't go into? So now we're going to go into the second type. We've done deductive. Now we're going to go into inductive, where we reason from the specific to the general. Inductive is the opposite of deductive. We use inductive reasoning all the time. However, here's the difference. It does not provide certainty, but only probability. Deductive reasoning can provide certainty, but inductive reasoning provides only probability. Here's an example of inductive reasoning. I met 5 people from Conroe. They were all mean. So what do we conclude from that? Every single person I met from Conroe was mean. You know, I met 5 people. Let's say I was in the dentist's office and 5 people there just happened to be from Conroe, and they were mean. So my assumption from that is that people from Conroe are mean. Now, can I say that seriously? Are there enough examples? I've got 5 examples in front of me. Are the examples typical? Anything unusual? No, they were all mean. Mean to me, mean to everybody. Are there important exceptions or special cases? So if I met them at the dentist's office, what is your mood when you go into the dental office? I'm just asking because I think that most people say, you know, that's about as bad as getting a root canal, okay? People do not like to go to the dentist, usually. So, but did I have enough people? Can I make a judgment about everybody in Conroe from 5 people? I mean, we do that all the time. We do it all the time. But it's wrong. We get into something called stereotyping when we do that. So here's another example. The sun has risen every day for the past year. So just from hearing that one statement, what can you conclude? Well, if it's risen every day for the past year, I'm going to conclude that the sun will rise tomorrow. The sun will rise tomorrow. Okay. Enough of that. Are there enough examples? Well, we talked about the whole year. That's 365 days. Seems like a lot of samples, and it is. It's enough examples. Are the examples typical? Yes, because every day, unless it rained a lot early in the morning, every day was pretty much the same thing. Are there important exceptions? Um, None foreseeable. I don't foresee any reason why the sun wouldn't come up tomorrow, but so that's what we conclude, that the sun will rise tomorrow. Um, Now we get into cause and effect reasoning. All effects have a specific cause. Uh, so we see the cause with the arrows going to the effect, and here is a little example. Jane studied for hours for her test. So what do we think? What can we conclude from that? Most people would say she'll get an A on the test. She'll ace it. She studied for hours. She's going to do just fine. Well, is the cause, studying for hours, connected to the effect? Will studying for hours ensure an A? I know a lot of times I've studied for hours for something and I didn't end up with an A. I just didn't have a grasp on the information. So we really cannot make that conclusion. We can't always say that just because two things happen in close proximity to each other or in close time or in close chronological order, A happens before B, but does that really mean that A caused B? Or could there be some other cause? Let's see the second example. As the sale of ice cream increases, the murder rate goes up. When I first heard this, I thought, that's interesting. And it's a fact. As the sale of ice cream increases, the murder rate goes up. So the conclusion is that eating ice cream causes murder. Do you all agree with that? I bet most of you don't. Is the cause connected to the effect? Could there be another explanation? Well, there is another explanation. More ice cream is sold in the summer when it is hot, and heat causes tempers to flare, and there are more crimes in the summer. It's also easier for criminals to get around in the summer. They don't have to deal with snow and ice and cold and all of that good stuff. So it's easier to commit crime in the summer. It just so happens that people eat a lot of ice cream in the summer too, but they're not related. It's not cause and effect. We call this correlation, not causation. Two things happen about the same time does not mean that they are related in a cause and effect situation. So we're going to talk a little bit. These are about faulty reasoning, and these are fallacies. And we've talked about fallacies, but I'll give you a few more. Here's one, glittering generality. It's vague and general statements that cannot be proven or disproven. So if I say Pepsi is the best soda, now I hope that none of you will choose something like this as your persuasive topic, because that's a matter of taste. I think I told you the cheesecake story about my boyfriend who told me that the cheesecake at this particular restaurant in London was the best cheesecake in the world. Well, we can't win an argument like that because it's personal taste. What if I just don't like cheesecake at all? All right, I'm going to think all cheesecake is pretty lousy. So Pepsi is the best soda. I can't prove that. Maybe Pepsi has fewer calories, or Pepsi doesn't rot your teeth as much. I'd have to do some kind of experiment to find out. Then we have faulty reasoning in this fallacy, which is called card stacking, piling up information about an idea without much backing, without much real evidence, empirical evidence. So, example, join the army. You'll meet new people, go to different places, and you can even get a college education. I think, you've probably seen these army recruitment commercials. See the world. Join the army, see the world. Well, not if you're stuck on a base in America are you going to see the world. And then we have the bandwagon appeal, which we've talked about. Everyone else is doing it. You should do it also. Example, we're all going out to the party. You don't want to be left out. You better come to the party. And that's the kind of argument we usually give our parents. Unrelated testimonial, an endorsement by someone who is disconnected from the product. Example, George Foreman endorsing Meineke mufflers. No, we know what George Foreman endorses. He endorses the George Foreman grill, right? Well, there's a connection there. He created the George Foreman grill, and he's been advertising it for years. So we trust him. Who would know better than George Foreman about the George Foreman grill? But I'm not going to trust him about Meineke mufflers. Get a race car driver for that. And then another one, the last one, is name calling. It attacks the person rather than the idea, ad hominem. Oh yeah, well I have a better class average than you do. Okay, well, we don't like to do that. I'm going to stop this. I went way too long.